Eliana Enners. In midfield, check that out. Attack, number 29, Regan O'Brien. And in goal for the Bulldogs, number 19, Abigail Widener. The officials for today's contest, Dave Salvation, Nate Paradis, and Sarah Rack. And also, one of our officials on the bench today.
All right, well, hello, everyone, and welcome here to Exeter.
At this time, we please ask
Nick Anastas, Kristen Cameron with you for the first of two Division I semifinals here at Bill Ball Stadium.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited, Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
All right, there's the national anthem. We're set to go here on a soggy Saturday afternoon, first weekend in June. Again, Nick Anastas, Kristen Cameron with you from Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, broadcasting in conjunction tonight with the NFHS Network on NFHSnetwork.com. Again, the top seed is the Bedford Bulldogs, 15-1. During the regular season, the lone loss was against an out-of-state opponent. Nashua South, very good season in their own right. They come in as the number 4 seed after a 14-4 regular season. And the Purple Panthers played the Bulldogs competitive in Nashua back on May the 19th. That was a Bedford win, but they had to work for it. 13-8 was the final score. And, well, Krista, we may be in for another competitive round 2 as these two teams look to punch their way to the championship round on Tuesday night.
The Bulldogs are the team to beat here, but if there's a team that's going to give them, like you said, another tough game, I think it's this South team. They are led by their top midfielder, Ella Ben-Zekri, who is a really impressive player, and I think we're going to see her make a huge impact in this game today.
Well, we're going to see her right off the bat here in the circle as the Stony Brook commit. Number 14 in purple, the junior, will square off here against Olivia Matthews, another junior, and another college commit for Bedford. She's on her way to James Madison. So 2 juniors in the circle. Bedford, as the higher seeds, they're in their home whites, while the Purple Panthers appropriately in the purple. Decent crowd. Again, rain been on and off. Temperature right around 50 degrees, a little chilly. Far from ideal conditions, but we're ready to go. Meanwhile, Matthews trying to win the face-off and will. Getting to the ground ball here near side. Going to throw into Ellie Enners, who quickly cycles it to her right. And now it's Regan O'Brien who's going to hit the brakes. Back over to Enners. Finds some room down the middle and fires a bouncing shot for a score. Well, Bedford in attack mode just 24 seconds into the contest. They light the lamp and take the early 1-0 lead.
This Bedford team is able to play fast, and they're able to do it well. And the key to stopping them is limiting that transition offense and trying to force them to settle in those 7v7 situations. If they win draws and play fast, this could be, a lopsided win.
Enners, senior midfielder, on her way to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University down in Daytona, Florida. Has been an asset for head coach Christine Hodgson for the last several years. Bedford hoping to get back to the championship game. Well, they fell last year in the finale to Bishop Girton. Speaking of the Cardinals, we will see them in the other semifinal later tonight when they take on Portsmouth. We're going to get a redo here at midfield. No, we're not. Bedford's just going to get possession. It's a violation against Nashua South, and that means Matthews is looking to make a play. Going to dodge to her right, goes back to the left, split dodge, bouncing shot, and score. Well, a terrific individual effort there by Olivia Matthews, showing the athleticism. And Bedford real quick, just 39 seconds in, a 2-0 lead.
You see Matthews there. I think she changes hands, and you see about 2 to 3 split dodges and face dodges as she works her way to the goal. She's going to look to end up in her left hand in most of these situations. And so, if I were South, I'd really key in on that and look to try and shut down her left.
So Matthews, who has been just a terrific two-way player, saw something she liked there and went after it. 2-0 is the Bulldog lead. So an early hole here for Nashua South as they look for their first possession. It won't come off this face-off as Matthews is victorious again. Fires a high pass here for Audrey Purnell. And now Bedford's going to cycle it behind the cage as they look for an early 3-0 lead with just a minute gone by. Here's a bouncer. It's denied and then covered up. First save for Kiera Walsh, the junior in net, who's been very steady all season for Coach Siki McIntyre. Makes a good first save, and now on the clear. This is Morgan Uzdanovich, St. Rose commit. Trying to fight off 3 Bulldogs, still has it. And now Uzdanovich finally looking to get rid of it. Going to pass it over here near side for Maisie Barker, one of the seniors for South. And this is their first Purple Panther possession here. It's Nashua South hoping to make the most of it with a minute and a half gone by.
Saves in this game are going to make a big difference. If Bedford continues to win the draw controls, the Panthers are really going to rely on Walsh to come up big for them and create those offensive opportunities.
You know what I was just thinking, by the way, Miss?
Well, South right now with 4 players up over the 20-yard line.
You ever need to make like another LLC?
And 3 goal line extended. Looking for some movement now, but in no real hurry apparently as well.
Yeah.
Is this part of the strategy here to try to maximize the clock if you're South?
Yeah, I think slowing the pace of this game down is going to play to their advantage. We're also seeing them, just let Ben Zachary really quarterback this offense right now. She's, looking for cutters, but she also can take Matthews 1v1. So, if she doesn't see a look that she likes, I think she'll just take it to goal herself.
And Matthews okay with giving her some room here defensively. So Ben Zachary continuing to hold on that far wing. Now 2.5 gone by. She's going to step on the gas. Lost the ball. It'll roll free. Eventually settles out of bounds, and the Bulldogs get the turnover they were hoping for.
That was an excellent check and cost turnover by Matthews. You can see already she's been effective at the draw, on offense, and now on defense.
Here comes O'Brien. Left side, Purnell. So never quite made it to her stick. She does now recover, finds the cutter, but O'Brien stripped on the release. A whistle here is going to give the Bedford senior a free position shot. It'll be the first either way, and it comes with just over 3 minutes gone by. So a golden opportunity to go up 3-0 as the wind whips down on the field. O'Brien going to fire a shot, and the save is made to the right there by Walsh, her second in net. Outlet pass, though, goes astray, unable to hook up with Bryn Teft. And the turnover will give it back to Bedford here down at this end.
This will really be our first look at Bedford's settled offense. We're going to really have a better understanding of what this looks like for them because we see so many of their goals come from fast break opportunities and in transition offense.
Including the first two here today. Here's a backdoor cut, misfire by Enners. Pretty good look. Meanwhile, Coach McIntyre is down near the 20-yard line at the head of the Purple Panther bench trying to spearhead this defense. Drawing a slide pass, broken up. Bedford will recover, though. It's Madison Kiley, number 3, who got jammed up. First look at Sydney Grogan, the Yale commit. Trying to fight off Ben Zachary in the corner. Pretty good effort by Ben Zachary to stay with her. And now a shot on the move is going to find its way into the cage. Goal number 2 for Olivia Matthews, this time to her left.
Bulldog goal number 2.
With a carve up the Purple Panther defense for a second time, and Bedford out in front early here, 3-0.
One of the top aspects of Olivia Matthews' game is her ability to shoot on the run. You can see this release. It's not your typical overhand shot. She's a skilled player that can be successful using this sidearm release, and that's, as a goalie, that's really tough to read. You don't know where that ball's going to go.
Yeah, Walsh a couple of saves under her belt, but has had to deal with a number of kind of unique releases, right? A couple of bouncers early she had to fend off, and now the side release from Matthews. Bulldogs have had the early advantage through the first 5 minutes in terms of time of possession as well. A much-needed south win off the face-off, and then a little bit of a shove here against Bedford. Purple Panthers now going to set up for their second possession. Hoping to produce their first shot.
Yeah, South, that was a good first offensive attempt, setting their pace, taking their time. I think one thing, with this Bedford defense, we've seen them play a few times now this season, they're really solid and settled 7v7. So I think to catch them off guard, it'd be a good idea to change the pace of the game, push some of those opportunities, and just play a little bit faster to get back in this game.
And again, if you're Bedford, you're okay, kind of hanging back, especially with an early lead, right?
Yeah, they're not in any rush here, and we know that they can play good defense if they just kind of settle in and focus on those 1v1 plays.
This is Madeline Middalewski, the junior. Nowhere to go up top. Going to try Maisie Barker. Barker looking to turn the corner up top and ran into a second Bulldog defender, knocking her down. The whistle sounds. And it looks like South is going to get a free position shot of their own here, their first. Now with 6 minutes gone by in this first half. So Barker from deep. This one from 15 yards out, maybe too deep for a shot. Barker looking back door, pass a little too high. Tried to hook up with Uzdanovich. And it results in a Purple Panther giveaway.
Yeah, one thing you're going to see here is the Bedford skill level in terms of individual skills and stick work is really high. And that is a huge advantage for them. And for a team that plays tough defense, it can expose, some of the teams who have players who are working on those skills and, developing their individual stick work. So I think, you have to be really smart with those passes and make sure that it's an opportunity that's 100% there before making a pass like that.
Bedford okay on the clear. Good recovery by the Purple Panther defense in transition to prevent a shot. And now a little bit of a push here as Natalie Deenan able to draw contact near the cage. Bulldogs with 3 behind net. Good defensive play from behind. Again, that was Teft. Able to get a stick on it. It enters out of a big crowd with the ground ball for Bedford. Looks for a cutter. Has Matthews trying to shoot. Swallowed up upstairs. Save number 3 for Walsh, who was ready for that one over the shoulder. It stays a 3-0 contest with 7.5 gone by first half.
I was impressed by Nashua South's clear in the first couple attempts. We see a mishap there and the ball going the other way. But if they can stay poised and controlled in that clear, with Walsh keeps coming up with those saves, it's going to give them an extra set of opportunities.
Good play. Pass back door, and there it is. Grogan with a little bit of finesse over the left shoulder of Walsh makes it 4-0. It all started, of course, with the turnover at midfield as Audrey Purnell came up with the interception over her head. And on the other end, it's Grogan who finishes with her first goal. The future Yale Bulldog has Bedford out in front 4-0.
It's great to see Sydney Grogan back in the mix and making an impact. She missed the first portion of the season as she was coming back from injury, and you would never be able to tell. She's making an impact. She's playing as physical, looking as athletic as ever, and she was even just named to the All-American Senior Game. So she will. That's a huge honor. That's a honor selected from players across the country, and she's one of the top players.
Yeah, good to see her get national recognition. Of course, she's been a major staple in the program. One of the big horses, so to speak, for Coach Hodgson for a long time now. Multi-sport athlete, as we know, is the point guard for the Bulldog basketball team as well. And obviously a very bright student on her way to Yale. So Grogan and company here. Bedford looking good as advertised. The top seed with a 4-0 lead on the board. Just over 8 minutes gone by. And threatening to make it 5-0. O'Brien shoots low, a little off target. Not sure if Walsh got a piece of that or not. It'll stay in bounds in the near corner where it's scooped up without a challenge by Ella Dakos, the junior attack. Meanwhile, this one, it's Barker. Able to outdo O'Brien for the ground ball. Draws, looked like a shove against O'Brien here along the near sideline, and South ready to go as they look to clear it out of their own end, trailing 4-0. This Bedford ride has given Nashua South some issues, as they have most teams all season. But no problem here. Audrey Mulvaney, the junior.
Despite this pressure from Bedford, I think South looks poised right now. They're handling the ball well. They turned back when they needed to. I think this patience is going to be really key for them to find an opening like that.
Yeah, wide open. Smetalowski draws a slide at the top of the slot and has to back out. And again, a whistle coming in from the trail official here. A little bit of a push from Bedford. So Metalowski, again from deep, about 15 yards out. Not going to fire, instead goes to her left. And South looking to run something here as they try and crack the ice. Hoping to get on the board. But now 10 minutes gone by in this first half.
One thing the officials are really looking for on the defensive end is those horizontal sticks, and they're going to call that, a flag every single time. The stick must be kept between your shoulders, more in a vertical position. You can still, hold your arms and play physical, aggressive defense on the body, but anytime that stick turns to that horizontal position, whistle every time.
Kind of a fine line as a defender to walk.
This is like Ben and wrestling.
Meanwhile, that pass is knocked down. Benzrecki recovers, though, for South, trying to make her way to her right, fires up a wild one. Sails over the top, but will stay with South.
My follow-up comment was, well, not
Fortunate that South had the backup there. I think in those positions where it's crowded inside the 8-meter, you have a bunch of defenders. I'd probably pull that out, look to work it around a little bit, or even pull it out and redodge there, because with defense stacked and kind of that density inside the 8-meter, it's going to be tough to make that one go through.
Yeah, South going to try and spread it out here and create space as we near the midway point first half. Bedford a 4-0 lead. Ben-Zechry draws a crowd, still has it to her right, trying to backpedal. Bounce pass gets away from Barker. The senior able to scoop without a challenge on that far side wing. Grogan right with her. Looks for the Ben-Zechry pick to her right. Good switch here by the Bulldogs. That's that defensive communication, right? That's been one of the strengths for Bedford on defense all season.
It's been huge for them. You can hear them even from up here.
Right.
And, that's probably your worst nightmare, having Matthews and Grogan on you in a double team.
That's what you love to hear as a coach, right?
Yeah.
Your defense talking it up. And Bedford is, I don't believe, allowed a shot on goal yet. Ben-Zechry trying to change that shot. A little wide to the left, about a foot or so outside the post. It'll again stay with South.
South offense appears to be moving well. They're getting some opportunities. Like you said, haven't seen a clean shot on cage, but if they keep working this, a defense is bound to break down eventually, despite Bedford having really solid communication. Again, there's no shot clock in high school lacrosse, and so they can really just take their time and control this offensive set.
That one batted down. That was Enners showing the hand-eye coordination. And now O'Brien with the clear. Bedford, so dangerous in transition. Threatening to go up 5-0. Backdoor, Matthews will do just that. Well, we get the applause from the Matthews contingent here in the stands just below us. Mom, dad, brother, sister, grandparents, I assume. 5-0 Bedford, and Matthews already with a hat trick here that's going to lead to a timeout from Coach McIntyre as South wants to talk it over.
If I were South, right now what I'd be talking about in this huddle is, how do we stop ball? Bedford has a ton of threats, and honestly every single one of them, anytime they have the ball, is a threat to go to cage. And so in transition opportunities like that, even if you have to take the foul and just try and limit that opportunity, you got to body up, get in front of them, even send a second slide early on. That's going to be a key to them, because Bedford, they see that those opportunities being successful, they're going to continue to push the pace.
Yeah. Well, again, the Bulldog fans have, for the most part, turned out. I'd imagine if Bedford does win and advance to Tuesday's championship, that the students will really turn out. But given, again, the less than ideal weather conditions here tonight, not a bad turnout for either school, as the Purple Panther fans have made their trek from Nashua along Route 111 and settled in behind the visitor bench as well. This is the first of two semifinals tonight here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS Network. We will see defending champion Bishop Girton as a 6th seed take on former Division II champion Portsmouth. Of course, the Clippers made the jump from D2 to D1 this season and are right back in the semifinals as the number 2 seed. So that should be perhaps the heavyweight battle of the night. Now, you told me off air that the game times were originally the other way around. Bedford, as the top seed, they were going to play in the latter slot, Game 2 of this doubleheader, but because Nashua South has their prom tonight, Purple Panthers wanted to play the early game and hopefully get some of those ladies back to Nashua South High in time for the prom.
That's a fun day.
Yeah.
Play playoff lacrosse and a prom to head to later. I think, the team looks focused, though. This is what you got to do first. Try and win the game, play hard here, and then go have fun later.
And have the makeup specialists on standby, I suppose.
Maybe some touch-ups in the car.
They're going to be working under the gun for sure. All right. At midfield, Bedford. Matthews against Ben-Zechry. That's been the matchup exclusively so far. And a redo on the way.
So the draw is going to be redone anytime there's kind of no fault or error by one of the individual players. So, if both players draw correctly, it just doesn't go over their shoulders, they're going to get a redo. But if we see one team, pushing or pulling in a way that they shouldn't be, possession's going to be awarded to the other team.
Ben Zachary. Good spin move. South going to settle in. Past the midway point now, coming up on 12 minutes to go, first half. Bedford a 5-0 lead, and again, Coach McIntyre looking to slow this pace down a bit.
One thing for Ben Zachary is against teams that don't play defense like Bedford, she can probably just take over and beat defenders 1v1 and really be, the main part of this offense. That's going to be more challenging against a team like Bedford who plays really strong team defense. And so you see her really working the ball, relying on her teammates. It's not just a one-woman show out there.
Well, she's given plenty of room here. Matthews giving her about 10 yards of cushion.
Yeah, so in this stack that the South is running right now, the primary look is cutters off that stack. South looking to, catch their defenders off guard, catch them ball watching. But if Ben Zachary doesn't see an opening here, she's going to try and take Matthews 1v1.
Again, Bedford off-ball defense is all over it here.
Yeah, it's important as that off-ball defender to see your girl and see the ball. If you get caught ball watching, your girl's behind you, she's going to backdoor you, but you also can't just be, focus on your girl because you might have to slide if Ben Zachary decides to dodge 1v1.
Yep.
So head on a swivel is really important here.
All right, Ben Zachary going to see if O'Donnell can cook up something here up top, but nowhere to go. That's Enners in front of her. And now this one on the turf. Matthews decided to go for it for Bedford. A whistle, though, is going to keep it here with South. And a quick restart. Trying to free up Ben Zachary. Good recovery by the Bulldogs.
Again, Enners is going to be called for that horizontal stick. Going to be advantage to South.
See how aggressive they are here. Been a 2-minute possession. Down to 10 minutes to go until halftime. South trying to get on the board. Bedford hoping to preserve the shutout.
If I'm South right now and I've, played slow for, almost or over 15 minutes pretty much, I would look to pick up the pace a little bit. Down 5 against a team like Bedford, you got to get on the board in this first half because, Bedford has the depth where, they can run this up in the second half. And so if they want to make this game more competitive, got to get more shots off like that.
There you go. It's the first one on goal. It's the first save for Abby Widener. Senior goaltender ready for that one. So a lengthy possession comes up empty for South. And Bedford has no problem with the clear up the far sideline. Now it's O'Brien going to tiptoe along the far wing. Looks for a pass in the middle. Nice yank by Enners, but it's set aside by Walsh. Enters the ground ball behind the cage. Floats a pass over the top. And now it's Grogan who says slow it down as the senior pulls it out. Bedford looks to operate here, hoping to go up 6 early on. Now 9 minutes remaining first half. Matthews gets the step, shot, set aside again. Walsh. I've got her for 6 saves here in this first half. Bedford will have another crack, though.
That was a good job by South, stopping that transition opportunity. One of the reasons why Bedford is so effective is because their main attackers are also there on defense. As you see, Grogan, Matthews, Enners, they cause a turnover, and the rest of them are just sprinting upfield. So having those true two-way players allows them to create these types of opportunities.
Walsh, another save. O'Brien tried to beat her upstairs. Now Ben Zachary being chased down from behind. Good effort here by Purnell. Ben Zachary, though, stays ahead. And is denied access down the middle. Her pass is knocked away. Bulldogs hoping to get to the ground ball. Sabrina tipping. Fires the outlet pass before losing her balance. And now Bedford going right to left the other way. They get the clear on a long pass. Natalie Deenan going to slow down here on the near wing. Leaves it up top for O'Brien, trying to stay with it. Never quite had it. Walsh out of the cage to corral. A little bit of back and forth action now with 7.5 to go in this first half. South going to jog here, trying to clear it out of their own end.
If I'm this Bedford team, I start thinking a little bit strategically now. You see your first-line midfielders who will play the entire game. They're up and back, up and back. When you have an opportunity like that to rest their legs after they just played defense for so many minutes, and potentially these midfielders are going to have another game in a few days where they're going to be up and back the field, I would give them a little bit of rest on offense. You can't rest on defense, but that would be a good opportunity to, slow it down. You're up by 5, take some time off the clock.
Right. Instead, South comes up with the ball in the end. And now this Bulldog defense here really getting aggressive. Coming out and challenging. Benzekri eventually going to get inside the 30 and find a little bit of safety for Nashua South. Bedford a 5-0 lead. Olivia Matthews has 3 of the 5 Bulldog goals. Ellie Enters, Sydney Grogan the other 2. South junior goaltender Kiera Walsh, 6 saves unofficially to try and keep her team in it.
She's really keeping this game controlled. If she didn't have those saves, I think this would be looking a lot different.
Yeah.
She's been really effective in cage, and I think Bedford could do a better job with their shot selection. They're not going to get any easy ones by Walsh.
We move inside of 6 minutes first half.
We can see kind of, this set that they're running being inverted. So we now see Benzekri quarterbacking in that feeder position behind the cage. So we'll see if this makes any difference.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of that in the first half so far anyway. This pass gets away from Benzekri. A little too strong, trying to hook up with Karina O'Donnell. Sophomore Mitty can't catch up, and Bedford forces another turnover.
This Bedford clear has been really solid all season. Again, it plays to that. Their stick work, their individual skill level allows them to make these transition passes that some teams just aren't able to handle.
Seems like their players are always in the right positioning.
Yeah.
As well.
Great spacing in the clear and the ride, and, they're all great individual players, but that's a big coaching thing. You can attribute that to the Bedford coaching staff, who they have a really impressive roster of coaches on their sideline.
Yeah, we know about staff as well. This shot is going to slip free for a goal. It's the first for Regan O'Brien. Looks like Walsh may have gotten a piece of that shot below the knee, but it ends up in the goal anyway, and Bedford extends their lead to 6-0 here with inside of 5 minutes now remaining first half.
Yeah, that was an interesting look from O'Brien. The typical lefty. She started in her left hand and ended up switching to her right from a less favorable angle, but regardless, able to get that one by Walsh.
So O'Brien is heard from for the first time. And the Bulldogs, again, out in front here, comfortably 6-0. I imagine that was the idea. They scored 2 goals in the first minute. Looks like they came out ultra aggressive in the early moments of the game and have taken advantage of their opportunities ever since, including here on the faceoff. O'Brien looked to trigger the break. Near side Purnell. That shot denied by Walsh. Walsh, that's number 7. Sorry, Kristen, on a pretty good-looking save there below the knee.
Really good save. I would say, again, though, kind of shot selection from Bedford. Some of those shots may work against other teams in other situations. I don't think I saw the power behind that shot that you would need. And you can kind of read that one, that high to low, the body language. And so I do think that Bedford needs to do a better job, either, adding in some fakes or, changing up the levels of their shots. Regardless, though, a great save for Walsh.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it seems like the South clear has gotten better throughout this first half as well, as Barker brings it to safety, and now another possession on the way for the Purple Panthers. Inside of 4 minutes first half. Well, how big is it for South to get on the board before halftime?
They need a goal, and I think it needs to come from Benzekri. I think you need the leader of your offense to, step up here, run a play, isolate her, and just let her charge down to cage. Otherwise, this game's going to slip away from them if it hasn't already.
Well, again, they're going to fan out. Bulldogs okay with it defensively. This is O'Donnell giving room up top. Looks for a ball screen. Instead goes back door. Metalewski back for O'Donnell. Wind continuing to whip. We're down to 3 minutes first half. Metalewski. Nowhere to go. Matthews right in front. And now Ben Zekri hits the reset button up top.
Yeah, well, God
Just continue to be impressed by this Bulldogs defense. You can see the way, in that two-man game situation, the way that Matthews and Grogan are communicating on defense. They are really clean on their switches, on picks. You just don't see too many errors defensively.
Yeah. They're going to tag up Kira Abdel Saeed here. The Bulldog defender a little too aggressive. Flag on the play as this shot a couple inches over the crossbar ends up out of bounds.
Yeah, when you see that flag held, if the player does get a clean shot off, the flag's going to be put down unless, the shot is altered or, that foul was really impactful in the play. We're not going to see them give them the free position opportunity.
Abdel Saeed comes up with a steal. Outlet scooped off the turf by Purnell. We got an offside here?
Yeah, I think the ref actually made a mistake on that call. Purnell wasn't sure whether she could go over, but Bedford already had a midfielder shrieking up the field like we've seen them in transition, and so I do think that was just a mix-up. You see Purnell, she was kind of tiptoeing that line, wasn't sure if she could go over, which I think created the illusion that, she might have stepped off sides.
Right. 3 officials on the field today, all of them with a lot of experience. Typically, we only see 2 officials during the regular season. All right, final 95 seconds. 85. 6-0. Nashua South, who did find a way to score 8 goals against Bedford a few weeks ago in the regular season. Come up empty here so far in this first half against this vaunted Bulldog defense.
Yeah,
Ben Zekri here near side is going to try the near wing. We've seen her operate on the other side of the field most of this first half. Sorry, Kristen, go ahead.
If we think about the games that these two teams had leading into today, you wonder if fatigue plays a role. So Bedford, had a relatively easy game against Merrimack, winning 22-4, whereas Nashua South had to battle it out against Pinkerton in a one goal win. And the South team doesn't look like a team that's going to score 8 goals today as of right now, and so you just start to wonder, did those matchups in the quarterfinal game?
Plus, the quarterfinals were only 2 days ago, so we're talking about a 48-hour window, which is not obviously a long time to get ready. So Bedford, now with 25 seconds remaining, looks like they're in the position for a final shot. They look to go up 7-0. They go back door to O'Brien. Pass deflected. It ends up with the goaltender, Walsh. South gets the stop they were hoping for. Purple Panthers look for a clear. Pass is a bullet for Barker. Too strong, taken away. Bedford goes upfield. O'Brien with 5 seconds. Going to fire off a sidewinder that ends up out of play. A little too high on that shot attempt. It'll stay with Bedford, but they're out of time. So we hit halftime. The top seed is pitching a shutout, so to speak. 6-0 Bedford after 25 minutes here in Exeter. Olivia Matthews, the junior, has 3 goals for Bedford. And that defense has been as good as advertised as well. Bedford out in front 6-0 at the break.
The Bedford defense, this is maybe the first time I'm saying this, might be the star of this game. Bedford's offense, they're full of superstars, but the way that they have held their ground, caused turnovers, made saves, and been really effective in the ride, that defense wins championships, as I'm sure you've heard before. Yeah. That's what this Bedford team is doing right now. They're playing really effective defense.
All right. Both teams will head to the halftime locker room here. It's an abbreviated halftime, as we know, so we will step aside for just a moment, come back, look back at that first half with stats, highlights, and analysis, and then before you know it, second half action is on the way. So Bedford, a 6-0 lead over Nashua South. Halfway home, so to speak, hoping to punch their ticket to Tuesday night's championship round. Back in a moment, you are watching the 2023 NHIAA Girls Lacrosse Division I semifinals. Right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS Network.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
Halftime here in Exeter. Nashua South trailing Bedford 6-0 as we get set for the second half here in this 2023 NHIAA Girls Lacrosse Division I semifinal. First of two games here at Bill Ball Stadium. Portsmouth and defending champion Bishop Girton come your way at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. Nick Anastas, Kristen Cameron with you. Bulldogs wasted little time. Ellie Enners put the top seed on the board first, just 24 seconds into the game. 1-0 Bedford, and then 15 seconds after that, Olivia Matthews gets her first to make it 2-0. Matthews would extend that Bedford lead to 3-0 less than 5 minutes in. And that forced Nashua South to call it an early timeout. Coach McIntyre seemed like got her team a little bit more on track as Purple Panthers started winning some of the draws and extending some of their possessions on attack. Of course, junior goaltender Kiera Walsh kept them in the game with 7 saves unofficially in that first half. But right around the midway point, Matthews scores again. The early hat trick made it 5-0. Sidney Grogan was heard from in there as well. And then in the final 5 minutes, Regan O'Brien able to light the lamp for her lone goal in that first half. So 6-0 when you add them all together. And now, Kristen, I'm going to ask you to put us into Coach McIntyre's position down there. Her club trailing 6-0. They did some things well in that first half, but still a big mountain to climb here as we begin the second half. What needs to happen for Nashua South to get back into the game?
The keys for South are, 1, more possession. So they need to win these draw controls, come up with any 50-50 balls. And 2, they need to start playing faster and being more aggressive offensively. They're moving the ball pretty well, but the pace that they're playing with right now, slowing the game down, they're running too much time off the clock, being down by 6 goals. So I think if we look for them to get more aggressive on offense, play faster, they could come back in this game.
This has been the exclusive matchup in the circle. Nashua South's Ella Benzekri against Bedford's Olivia Matthews. Again, if you're just joining us, the rain has been kind of off and on, a little drizzly. Very windy and frankly chilly here. We had 90-plus degree weather most of the week. And now it's right around 50 degrees, so a little bit of a stark contrast. But as they say, New England weather can be a little bit unpredictable. All right, Bedford going to settle in here first as we begin the second half. Bulldogs' a 6-0 lead. It's a team that won 15-1 in the regular season to earn Division I's top seed, and looking to get back to another championship game under head coach Christine Hodgson.
We may see Bedford's strategy start to change a little bit in this second half. They are going to want to play a little bit slower, run more time off the clock, still go to goal, but they're thinking ahead already, and resting up could be important here. But, they got to clean up some turnovers like that if they want to play slower.
Meanwhile, Barker trying to find some spacing here on the clear. Surrounded by Bulldog defenders, hits the gas, but lost the ball just shy of the 50-yard line. Taken away by the Bulldogs. It's Madison Kiley on the ground ball for Bedford. O'Brien going to jog to a stop on that far side wing. And again, Bedford going to settle down here on attack for their second possession. With now 100 seconds gone by since halftime.
Bedford attackers, they are also skilled defenders. Their ride has been relentless. They've caused several turnovers there. And if you, take some risks on offense, but you're able to get the ball back, that is a really, really skilled
There's a shot and a score. Speaking of skill, that's O'Brien from a tough angle here, near side, able to beat Walsh for her second goal. In less than 2 minutes in here, second half, Bedford going to extend the lead to 7-0.
That's the second O'Brien goal that we've seen from a lower angle. I think, if you have her number, you should know that she can pretty much shoot from anywhere, and she's always a threat on the field.
Yeah, come up with some kind of tricky releases, right? At least hard to track releases from a goaltender's perspective.
Yeah, as a shooter, she gets her arms up and away from her body, which allows her to have a really big range of motion. She can shoot all the way across her body, kind of shoot high in that elevator type shot. She has that versatility, which makes her hard to defend, hard for a goalie to know what's going on.
So go against Bedford. So South will have their first possession here officially of the second half with about 2 minutes gone by. Benzekri, Uzdanovich, Barker, and O'Donnell. They've had the ball in their sticks more often than not here this afternoon. And they'll play a quick game of catch along the perimeter. Coach McIntyre watching intently. Seems like the similar strategy from the first half, right? Try to maximize a little clock and maybe soften this Bulldog defense.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably close to a minute of passing. I don't know if they have the time for that right now, given that it's taken them, almost 30 minutes and they still haven't scored a goal yet. I would be playing much more aggressive.
Uzdanovich scoop down to get that errant pass. Bulldog defender is Libby Norris, the junior. Norris closing out on her. Ben-Zechary back door. That pass got through everybody, but ends up just shy of crossing the goal line. A good save, I suppose, in net there for Bedford. That's just the second save for Abby Widener. So a lot of the shots South fired towards the cage didn't end up on cage in that first half.
Yeah, it's a good thing she was keyed in on that play because that wasn't even really a shot, kind of an errant pass that made its way through the cage.
Right. So the shutout remains intact. Bedford no problem on the clear. And now with 3.5 gone by, again the Bulldogs threatening to widen the advantage to 8-0. These two teams met a little over 2 weeks ago, May the 19th. 13-8 Bedford win. There's a rocket from Matthews, who's right now leading everybody with 3 goals. That shot a little off target, but Bedford will keep it at this end as Kylie gets set for the restart.
I like what I'm seeing from Bedford's motion. They had a little bit of a 3-man weave going, and were able to get a good shot off. Matthews didn't finish it, but still a good opportunity.
An 8th save for Kiera Walsh.
She's been eating up those low shots, kind of anything bouncing or at her feet.
I'd say the majority of the saves have been below the knee.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ben-Zechary able to weave her way for the clear. And now Barker safely steps inside the 30-yard line. South a 14-4 regular season. Coach McIntyre has been obviously on that sideline for a long time. This is one of the better seasons the program has had in a while. And as you mentioned earlier, Kristen, a 9-8 win over perennially tough Pinkerton in the quarterfinal round. That's an accomplishment in its own right.
It is. This is, again, a great season for South. They have had no trouble scoring this whole season. And so, they've really put together an impressive offensive package. I think this speaks to two things. One, we touched on the fatigue piece, but two, Bedford's defense is just that good.
Yeah, we've seen the communication. It's been on point. And just nobody open. I mean, it's not like South has been stagnant either. Shot, set aside. Third save for Widener. Ground ball up for grabs, and out of a crowd comes O'Donnell for South. Good heads-up play by the sophomore. Meanwhile, a whistle is going to clear things out, and a free possession shot potentially on the way. This one, again, pretty deep. We may see one here from Metalewski from 15 out. Instead, she'll tiptoe to her right, brings Enners with her. That shot is wide. It's backed up by South, and the Purple Panthers will keep it with now 6 minutes gone by second half. Bedford still out in front 7-0.
Even though South has gotten a few shots off, the opportunities that they've had have been less than ideal, either through traffic from a less than ideal angle. And so, again, Bedford's defense, while they are giving up a few shots, it's ones that aren't likely to go in, and they have Widener there ready to back them up.
Yeah. Widener, a senior, part of this talented senior class that includes Grogan, includes O'Brien. But the Bulldogs will have a lot coming back as well, including today's high scorer, Olivia Matthews, who's just a junior. Meanwhile, Ben-Zechary going to draw a double team, going to escape the double team here on the near wing. And again, a little too aggressive defensively was Matthews, going to get tagged up here. We haven't seen either team take a free position shot yet, have we?
Oh, good question. It feels like we haven't. If anything, maybe one.
There was one whistled early against South, but Bedford I don't think ever actually took the shot. I think they passed instead, but we have to check the tape on that.
O'Brien had a free position.
Did she?
In the first half, yep.
And she
down here
she
on
took the
center
shot?
half. not recalling what happened there, but I would say there's been a pretty clean game in terms of fouls inside the 8-meter. If anything, Bedford's defense is pressing out, and so the fouls that they have been called for have been resulting on the South players being set up on that 12-meter. So not a free position, still a foul, but not giving them that open opportunity to cage.
Yeah, the officials have let them play for the most part. Little give and go, batted down. Good read there by Purnell for Bedford.
And Nick, earlier you talked about this spacing of Bedford in transition. They have Purnell open. They've got O'Brien already downfield, Matthews streaking down. This is what allows them to be so good.
Pass there, though, gets through the zone. It's backed up by Kylie, and Bedford's back in business. 8 minutes gone by, second half. It's a 7-0 Bulldog lead. Now, this Bedford defense, in the first half at least, triggered some offense as well. They forced turnovers. They got out and ran. They scored a couple of transition goals early. And it seemed like as the game has progressed, South has done a better job of getting back and shutting down some of those opportunities. Meanwhile, as a catch in a crowd, it's Deenan, who may be the tallest player on the field. Able to pull that one in. And now on her way to the cage is Matthews. She hears the whistle, and it's a violation against South.
Yeah, I would say South is starting to piece it together. You can see, one thing we talked about was them stopping the ball. They did crash that. They did send multiple defenders to Matthews, but, when you don't lead with that stick and get your body in front, it's going to be a shooting space violation.
That one goes off the crossbar. Going to roll all the way across the 30-yard line before O'Brien scoops it up with one hand for Bedford. Bulldogs back on the attack, left to right, backdoor feed. Kylie in a crowd, turns and scores. That's Maddie Kylie. Good catch there. Had the Purple Panther defender breathing down her neck. And almost in one motion. Catch, turn, and score. 8-0 Bedford.
Maddie Kylie was ready for that one. Walsh has gotten her low for a couple shots that she had, but this one finishing high. Really controlling her stick through defenders. That stick protection is key. You can see her. She tucks it in, holds that stick high, and finishes high.
Kylie, of course, comes from a lacrosse family, has several older brothers, including one who was in action earlier today, right?
Yeah, brother Timmy.
Timmy, in the senior for Bishop Girton. They beat Concord. Would you say that one was 22-4?
22-4 or 5.
So no problem for the top seed in the boys' Division I tournament. Defending champion BG. All right. 15:47 to go, so we're approaching that midway point second half. Bedford's lead continues to climb to now 8-0. Two of those coming since halftime. Olivia Matthews scoring a hat trick in that first half. Regan O'Brien right behind her with a couple of goals. Ellie Enners, Sydney Grogan, and now Maddie Kylie have all chipped in with a goal apiece for the top-seeded Bulldogs.
You've seen the Bulldogs definitely work the ball around more, get more touches from each player in the second half, really trying to work their settled 7v7 offense. They may not have needed to rely on it necessarily in this game, but should they look ahead to a championship matchup, those either the BG or the Portsmouth teams, they're going to give them a really tough time. So this is a good practice.
Free position shot on the way. O'Brien eyeing the hat trick, trying to push this lead to 9-0, but won't do it. Save again for Walsh. It's number 10. Made the stop down by the right ankle. And now South, right to left, trying to come up with a clear here against this very formidable Bulldog ride.
Really impressed by Walsh and the way she's seeing the ball down low. I would say she's really carrying the South defense right now.
Here's a turnover. Kylie forces the giveaway. Deenan nowhere to go. Back to Kylie. The trailer is Matthews, who looks to her right. Coach Hodgson says slow it down, and the Bulldogs will.
Bedford has a solid lead in this game, especially holding South to 0 goals, where they're in a position to do this. Sometimes a mistake that teams make is they start to slow it down too early, and the opposing team is able to close that gap. But
when is too early? in your opinion?
Yeah, I think you have to evaluate two things. One, the score and time on the clock. So I would say anything within 5 goals I think is too risky to slow it down. 5 goals can turn into a tie very quickly, especially you see teams who can score in 15, 20 seconds. I would say anything maybe within 15 minutes left in the game, I would say you're in a very comfortable position.
Matthews puts Bedford in an even more comfortable position. It's 9-0. She cashes in off the free position shot. And Bedford now 1 goal away from maybe a running clock as well as we near the midway point second half. Matthews with 4 goals. And as you saw in that last shot, that one left the stick with some smoke attached. Some speed on that shot. Bedford, a 9-0 lead here. They, again, beat Nashua South in a more competitive game back on May the 19th, 13-8. And if we dare look ahead at this point, Kristen, they're going to face, barring a comeback here, either Portsmouth or a rematch of last year's championship against BG, and both of those games were competitive. Back in the regular season, they met BG all the way back in April, and then squared off with Portsmouth a little later on in early May. But as we know, and as we've really said all season long, those three have been kind of in the same tier, right? That top tier of the division, Bedford, BG, and Portsmouth.
It's an interesting playoff situation this year because BG is not used to being the underdog. They have been this season. I think we could see them give Portsmouth a really good game. Portsmouth has some veteran players, though. They have a stacked team of college commits. They're really well coached, and I honestly don't know how that game's going to go. But either way, both teams are going to be ready to give Bedford a game.
Well, we're going to bring that to you coming up in about an hour or so. 7 o'clock Eastern is the scheduled start between Bishop Girton and Portsmouth. And you mentioned the two storylines there to watch. BG, the defending champion, kind of an up and down season. Of course, they challenge themselves as they always do out of state. And as we know, those out of state contests do count towards the overall record and thus the overall seeding. So a lot of those out of state losses kind of hurt the Cardinals in regards to their seeding in this year's tournament. So they come in as not the typical number 6 seed, as two-time Division I defending champs. And then on the other side, Portsmouth is the two-time Division II champion that seamlessly made the jump from D2 to D1. And as we mentioned, knocked off BG in the regular season, gave Bedford all they could handle. And as you mentioned, loaded with talent and veterans. So that 7 o'clock game is expected to be very competitive and perhaps a 1-goal game when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think the team that comes out with more intensity, plays more physical, wins those 50-50 possessions. That I couldn't pick a winner right now if I tried.
All right, meanwhile, we're about midway through this second half. And, again, something to watch, potentially a 10-goal lead for Bedford would trigger a running clock. Now, if at any point South brings that deficit back to single digits, then the clock would stop again. So Bedford, I'm sure, is aware of that, as is Nashua South.
Even though we haven't, seen that running clock yet.
Uzdanovich going to shoot and score, but I think they're going to wave it off. Right? They got to whistle first.
We're going to see a yellow card here.
It's against Bedford, so the Bulldog penalty actually prevented a goal, but Bedford now going to be shorthanded as Makita Berry, the lone freshman either way, getting action here in this semifinal, is going to get tagged up for the game's first penalty.
Yeah, we'll see what Uzdanovich can do here. This goal is really critical to South in this game if we do hit that running clock time.
Uzdanovich goes high, and it's kept inbounds as the Bulldog defender plucks it out of the sky. That's Vivian Robinson, the senior defender, who was camped out in perfect positioning behind the cage. So now Bedford is shorthanded and will be for the next minute 40. As they look to clear, they get that done with a short pass to O'Brien, who's going to Slow the pace down to a walk here along the near sideline in front of the Bedford bench. So the mission now for the Bulldogs is kill some clock and get back to even strength. Their 9-0 lead still intact.
Oftentimes when you see a yellow card on that 8-meter opportunity, the teams will opt to pull it out because that player up opportunity is so valuable and likely to convert. I don't know if South, had a set play ready, but that would have been something I would have considered or even recommended in that situation, because now you just see a Bedford team who's going to kill this penalty.
Halfway home. It's a full 2-minute penalty against Barry.
Got the Portsmouth Clippers in the stands.
Here
Getting
early.
ready, scouting a little bit, looked like.
Yeah, they're all huddled up here near the entrance. Now they're going to head, I think, to the locker room. No sign of BG quite yet, but again, still about an hour to go until game time. We've got about 11 minutes to go in this one. The Bedford penalty is down at just 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Bulldogs still have possession.
Bedford just really spreading this one out, using their legs when they need to. A double team in this situation is really tough because, when you have players who are so athletic and can use their legs and have all the time in the world, they're not really, forced to do anything too risky. So, Grogan can run it around, Matthews can hold it here, and now they're going to be even when they send Purnell into the offensive end.
Yep, we're back to even strength. Bulldogs kill the penalty. And now, again, threaten to trigger the running clock if they can go up 10-0. Wide open is Matthews, but the shot goes high. Well, on the initial catch, it looked like she had a clean shooting lane, but wanted to go to the net instead. Couldn't cash in. Bedford does reinforce it behind the net. Now Kylie looks for Matthews with a pass from behind the cage that gets through the zone. Deep on the wing, though, O'Brien is ready to cook. Sorry, make that Grogan. Comes off the O'Brien screen, fires. That one a foot or so wide to the left. Again, it's backed up by the Bulldogs. And we move inside of 10 minutes remaining here, second half.
Even though we haven't hit running clock yet, this game is moving very, very quickly because of the teams, taking the clock down.
Another save for Walsh. Denies Kylie low. Shot off the 5-hole for save number 11 unofficially.
And number 3 on Kylie, who's trying to, wrap that crease low. One thing that a goalie can look for and that they're reading is a player dropping their hands. You see Kylie dropped her hands, which means she's likely going to shoot that low, and that's something that Walsh is able to read all day.
Meanwhile, the Purple Panthers taking their time on the clear. Walsh has it. Looking to direct traffic out in front. This is Teft, who is double-teamed, had to circle back. Walsh will take her time inside of 9 minutes, second half. 9-0 Bedford. If you're just joining us, Bulldogs, 2 goals in the first minute set the tone. Olivia Matthews scored 3 of the 6 in the first half for the Bulldogs, and it was 6-0 at the break. Regan O'Brien scored a goal to end the first half and scored one to begin the second half. Made it 7-0 at that point. Kylie's lone goal made it 8-zip. Then a moment ago, Matthews, number 4, on a free position shot. And that is where we are here, 9-0. Despite the best efforts of junior goaltender Kiera Walsh for Nashua South, who has been very impressive at times with 11 saves. Backdoor feed for O'Brien, off target. And now this one up for grabs in the crease. Still loose. Player took a shot there. Walsh brings it into the chaos with another save upstairs. Players will clear out. Now Walsh does fire the outlet far side. We're inside of 8 minutes.
Walsh has been all over it. I think one thing for Bedford is they're starting to make some questionable decisions with those feeds inside. Not the cleanest passes that I'd be looking for, especially, when they face a defense like BG or Portsmouth, those opportunities that they're not going to work. And so I think they should really focus on kind of cleaning up their game and making those smarter decisions.
Here's a pass that's going to get away from South's Amanda Bell. The sophomore couldn't quite reel it in. Bedford ready to restart there along the far sideline, coming up in 7 minutes to go.
What a great view in front of our sideline camera.
That's Matt Beals down there in the trench. Whole different world down there, I'm sure. Whole different world down in the stands just a few feet in front of us. Again, it's been frankly cold most of the afternoon. Kristen came ready with the winter parka. But Matt Beal's down there on the sideline in shorts, as if he didn't get the memo. Meanwhile, whistle. What do we have here? A timeout?
Yeah, Bedford's going to call a timeout. Again, they're up by 9. I don't think this is, or I think this is a good call. They haven't done a whole lot with their possessions that they've been slowing down. They're really good at playing fast, and now they need to get better at this, slower paced offense, settled 7v7. They've made some questionable passes, turned the ball over, not taking the best shots, and so I think they really need to talk about this and what they're going to clean up and use these next 6 minutes and 46 seconds to prepare for that championship game.
Yeah. Well, if you're South, what are you looking to do here? Close strong, right? But how do you measure that? You put a lot of stock into scoring and avoiding the shutout, or are you just looking to go hard for the final 6:46?
Yeah, I think at this point, they probably know that this game is not winnable. It's not within reach to close the gap. But especially, for your seniors out there, you just want to go out playing hard, having fun, enjoying these last moments as a team together and closing out your season. And so I think that's what they'll look to do. Play as a team, have fun out there, and kind of, enjoy the last minutes of their season.
And then get on the bus quickly.
Yeah.
Because the prom awaits for Nashua South. All right. On the other side, we have coming up, as we mentioned, 7 o'clock, about 52 minutes or so from now, BG and Portsmouth. Championship game will be played right here on Tuesday night. And we'll have the coverage for you right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Again, we'll be broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS Network, the only place to watch it live, nfhsnetwork.com. All right, South looking to finish strong, so to speak. Bedford, they love to get out of here with a statement win, right? A shutout would potentially send a message to whoever's on the other side coming up Tuesday, but we'll see. Still a while to go between now and then. 6:46 to go in regulation. All right, so Bedford is going to go backdoor right out of the bat, and right off the bat, the shot and the score is going to give Regan O'Brien a hat trick here. Well, obviously that one was drawn up as O'Brien with a quick restart. Pass to her right and then just went right to the net, got it back, beats Walsh low for her third goal, and Bedford has the 10-0 lead, and the clock is now running.
That was a well-executed set play. You see Matthews with the ball, who was definitely a threat herself to dodge to cage. Instead, she looks to dish it off, and O'Brien finishes that one. And kind of an uncontested shot with O'Brien 1v1 versus Walsh. That's gonna be a tough one to stop.
Yeah. O'Brien 1v1 versus anybody.
Versus anybody.
Is tough to stop.
Yeah, even with how well Walsh was playing today, not much you can do there.
Face off. Ben Zachary against Matthews. It's been a battle. Ben Zachary going to win this one. She's played well. She's been kept off the score sheet, obviously, but Coach McIntyre has asked her to do a lot, and she's responded pretty well, despite her team now trailing 10-0.
Yeah, South has, done their best to move the ball, work it around, but that Bedford defense, they are just a brick wall. And, again, dodging up against Sydney Grogan right here, she is fierce.
And again, the good news for South, they're going to have a lot coming back. They're going to lose Maisie Barker, as we know. Foss, Murray, and Berthiaume. But other than that, I think there's only 4 seniors. So the majority of the starters, including Ben Zachary and Walsh, will be back for Nashua South. Bedford wasting no time on the clear. It goes around the horn, and then Matthews goes around the back for the shot and score. Goal number 5 just kind of flicked it over the shoulder there on her move to the left. 5 goals for Matthews, 11 for her team. Bedford high-stepping towards the finish line in this one.
Matthews just really demonstrating her skill level and her high lacrosse IQ. There aren't many times in a game situation when a behind-the-back is warranted. In that situation, she is aware that she now has a defender up against in front of her. She can't get her arms free to shoot, and so the only opportunity is to go BTB for the goal.
Got a look there at Coach Matthews, proud papa, leaning over the fence there a moment ago. Of course, his son is a freshman, Bennett Matthews, on the boys' Bedford team as well. All right, another face-off win for the Bulldogs. The ball quickly advanced up that far sideline. We're taking inside the 4-minute mark. Matthews with 5 goals to lead the way. This is Purnell downhill, shut off. A little bit of a bump from Benzrekri. And Benzrekri is called for the nudge. And give Purnell a chance for potentially her first goal. This one from 11 yards out. The shot swallowed up by Walsh to her right.
During that offensive possession for the Bulldogs, we saw them start to make some substitutions. So we now see Grogan hit the sideline. And, rest your players while you can. Give some of your other players an opportunity to see the field in a playoff situation.
Yeah, we see Libby Norris, one of their better defenders, over there on the sideline as well. Meanwhile, Matthews is still hustling here at midfield. Is going to draw the whistle in her favor in that one-on-one battle with O'Donnell.
I think Matthews has just been the best two-way player today. She has made an impact on offense, defense, draw circle. She is a really impressive two-way midfielder and just overall an athlete.
Having one to remember as well. 5 goals. Meanwhile, split dodge here. Stripped initially was O'Brien, but she's going to get the whistle. He's going to get the benefit of the doubt as well. Going to toe the 10-yard line and look for a 4th goal here. They're going to clear it out.
It's Enners.
It's Enners.
Enners on the free position.
Yeah, you're right. Enners scored the first goal of the game. Has not scored since. Going to fire that one, though, for her second goal. Beats Walsh, about hip high to the left. And Enners makes it 12-0 as we move inside of 2 minutes.
Yeah, she's been another really solid player for Bedford. She's played the entire game. You've noticed her presence pretty much everywhere on the field, even on the draw circle. She's played really well. She's a key staple of this Bedford team.
On her way to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University down in beautiful Dayton, Florida.
A lot of New Hampshire Laxers headed to the Sunshine State.
You and I talked about that a little bit the other night. It seems like kind of a growing trend statewide, right? Some of these schools down in Florida, some of the smaller schools really stepping up, so to speak, and attracting some of the top players in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I see Nashua South alum Olivia Johnson in the stands here. She's playing down at Jacksonville University. We'll see Maddie Hartsock for BG in the next game, who's headed to Flagler. So really, we've got the state of Florida covered.
Meanwhile, Enners, as we enter the final minute, hooks up with O'Brien, who lights the lamp. Found a soft spot in the middle of that Panther zone. And O'Brien's got now 4 to her credit, including 3 since halftime. 13-0 Bedford. As this one over the last 5 or 6 minutes has really gotten away from Nashua South.
Credit to Coach Hodgson's timeout. I think we saw renewed energy from the Bulldogs team to finish this game strong coming out of that.
Good point. Since that timeout, 4 goals.
Yeah. That was really huge to reset her team.
All right, final face-off on the way as the clock continuing to move down to 10 seconds. Enners and Benzrekri. Benzrekri the win. O'Donnell going to head right to left, but is not going to get this shot off. That's going to do it. Bedford, impressive, really on both ends of the field as they get it done 13-0. They're led by Olivia Matthews, the junior, and the JMU commit, scoring 5 goals, including one that's going to make the highlight reel. That over-the-shoulder shot, kind of an exclamation point on her performance today. And then, of course, defensively, the Bulldogs come up with 50 minutes of hard-nosed defense to earn the shutout. And the top seed is going to go back to the championship round as Bedford awaits the winner of our next semifinal matchup between Bishop Girton and Portsmouth.
I think looking back at this game, it was pretty clear that Bedford was the better team today, and they have been the best team all season. I'd say, the highlight for South was Walsh and Cage. She came up with some really big saves, created some opportunities. But overall, a great season for South. Not the way I'm sure they wanted to go out, but a lot of young players, a team that's coming back, and a great season for the program.
Ellie Anners got the party started just 24 seconds in to give Bedford a 1-0 lead. Olivia Matthews made that 2-0 15 seconds later. So Bedford 2 goals in the first minute of the game set the tone. As I mentioned, Matthews a few minutes later made it 3-0. Sydney Grogan's lone goal came in the first half about 8 minutes in. 4-0 Bulldogs at that point. Matthews' hat trick made it 5-0, and then just before halftime, Regan O'Brien is heard from. 6-0 was the Bulldog lead at halftime. O'Brien on a free position shot made it 7-0. Just a couple of minutes into the second half. Maddie Kiley working hard tonight. Got her reward, made it 8-0. Matthews on a free position shot. 9-0 Bedford, and then O'Brien triggered the running clock coming out of a Bedford timeout with about 6:40 remaining to make it 10-0. And then in the final 5 minutes, another from Matthews, another from Enners, and another from O'Brien just a moment ago. 13-0 is the final. A good season for Nashua South, a 14-4 regular season record, a quarterfinal victory over Pinkerton. But they're going to fall short here in the semifinal round as Bedford looking good. 13-0. Kristen, your final thoughts.
This Bedford team, they're the team to beat. They could be a potential state champion. This is the type of team, when you look at them on paper and their record this season, they are really well-rounded. They do everything well. Again, their defense wins championships. I'm excited to see who they'll play, who they'll match up against in the championship on Tuesday. But overall, a really impressive run by this team. Great coaching staff. It's just insane athletes out there. I mean, this is a fun team to watch, and excited to see them down the stretch.
All right, so don't go anywhere. Coming up in about 40 minutes or so, the second part of our semifinal doubleheader. Defending champion Bishop Girton against number 2 seed Portsmouth. That comes your way at the top of the hour, 7 o'clock Eastern. So, for our team here at Friday Night Lights New Hampshire, including Matt Beals and John Barron, our friends over at the NFHS Network, including Don Boyle, for our director, the man behind the curtain, Ben Beals, our executive producer, Steve Beals. For Kristen Cameron, I'm Nick Anastas saying so long. Final score, final time, Bedford 13, Nashua South 0. It's been a presentation of the 2023 NHIAA Girls Lacrosse Division I semifinal right here on Friday Night Lights New Hampshire in conjunction with the NFHS Network.